Okay, so here is a picture of J. Patrick Lewis. Now, this is from a pretty long time ago, but guess where he is? He is in the Lorraine School cafeteria. This poet came to our school and did an author visit. He got to talk to all the Lorraine kids about being a poet and how to write great poems. So it was really a fun and special day many, many years ago. And actually, I'll show you how long ago it was. You can see I'm a very young librarian in this picture. It was over 10 years ago that he came to our school to visit. So there's a picture of us together. And now we're going to take a look at some of the riddle poems he wrote. So a riddle poem, it's kind of like a mystery where we read the poem and we have to try to figure out what the answer to the poem is. I'm actually going to do this one first just because I have it right here for everyone to see. I'm going to read the poem and I want you to think about what the place is that he's writing about. And if you think you have an idea, you can raise your hand. So this is how the poem goes. Come right in. Look around at all the treasures that are bound to make you glad for a week or two until your treasure's overdue. What is the place that the poem's about? There's some hints in the pictures. What's a place that you could visit with lots of treasures inside? And then if you don't give the treasure back, it becomes overdue. Here's a hint. What is the place in the poem? Anyone have an idea? Jackson, what's your guess?
I forget.
You forget? Jackson, were you thinking maybe this little person here has a book in her hand and she's walking into this room? The answer is a library. That's the answer to the riddle. And in the book, you can actually see the answer is written upside down on the bottom of the page. So if you get stuck and you don't know what the answer is, you can flip it over and look. So some of the books we're going to look at, I'll show you what they are. And that poem was from one of these riddle books as well. Our riddle poem books today are called Riddleicious. Kind of sounds like delicious, doesn't it? The other one is Riddlelightful. And then the last one is a riddle book about stories called Spot the Plot. So I'll see if you guys can guess some of those as well. But we'll start with Riddleicious by J. Patrick Lewis. So here's the one we just read. And do you see at the very bottom? There's the answer. Can you read it backwards? A library. All right, so I'm not going to show you the answer for the next one. I'm going to read it and see if you can guess the answer. Every fall, this vegetable welcomes night by candlelight. Anybody know what vegetable it is? Elliot, what's your guess?
Pumpkin.
It's a pumpkin. Very good. So some of the hints in the riddle is that instead of a vegetable, it says a vegetable. So we know this vegetable is a round shape and it welcomes night by candlelight. So I can't think of any other vegetable that we put candles inside except for pumpkins. And then if we double check Elliot's answer, down here at the bottom, it says a pumpkin. Do you see it spelled backwards? Very good. All right, let's try this one. This one's going to be really easy. All of you should see the answer because the picture makes it very obvious. This one says, if you eat it over under, butter dribbles down your chin. If you eat it sideways, though, sometimes you might miss a row. Does anyone know what the answer to this riddle is? If you eat it over under, butter dribbles down your chin. If you eat it sideways, though, sometimes you might miss a row. Gabriel, what's the answer?
Peas.
It's corn. Do you ever eat corn on the cob? Yeah, when you eat corn on the cob, if you eat it over under, the butter can run down your chin. And if you eat it sideways, you might miss a row. All right, so here is our last vegetable riddle. To folks in Maine, they're red and round, and you can find them underground. In Idaho, they're brown and big and still grow underground. You dig? Can you figure out the riddle? And Nora, do you know the answer?
It's a potato.
A potato. Very good. And that's because potatoes can be red, they can be brown, they grow underground. And I can see our answer here, if we double checked it, it says potatoes, spelled backwards. Great job. Okay, how about this one? We'll skip this. I'm not going to read all these riddle poems. I just have my favorites that I'm sharing with you. How about this riddle? Mr. Silverbright cuts butter. Mrs. Silverbright pokes peas. Baby Silverbright scoops soup, if you please. So for this riddle, you have to tell me what Mr. Silverbright is, what Mrs. Silverbright is, and what baby Silverbright is. What do you think? Do you guys know? Anora, you want to do this one?
Mr. Silverbright is a knife. Mrs.
Yep.
Silverbright is a fork, and baby Silverbright is a spoon.
Very good. Yes, because he cuts butter, she pokes peas, and the baby scoops soup. Very good. Yep, a knife, a fork, and a spoon. So lots of different riddle poems in here. Sometimes the picture really helps give the answer. So I'm going to make this one a little bit trickier because you guys are too good at these. So I'm not going to show you the part of the picture that gives a really good hint. So here's our riddle. I am a helmet on the ground, but so afraid of strangers, I disappear inside my hat. The world is full of dangers. What's the answer to this riddle? Elliot?
It's a turtle.
Very good.
Because all of the soldiers, they don't have helmets on, they have turtle shells.
Very good. You looked at the hints in the pictures. Yes. So our turtle is the helmet on the ground. And we know that turtles can be afraid of people, right? So it can disappear inside its hat, and the world is full of dangers. So Elliot used the hints on the soldiers' heads to give him his idea that it's a turtle. Very good. Let's do... All right, let's be done with this one. So now I want to show you our next riddle book. This one is also by J. Patrick Lewis, and it's called Riddlelightful. And we'll just read a couple of these until we move on to my favorite riddle book, which is a book of book riddles. All right, let's see if you can figure this one out. The world was mine to run, for I weighed a mighty ton. And when I ran, it shook. And when I roared, it took a frightened look to see the giant who was me. Enormous, huge, colossal. And now I'm just a fossil. What could this riddle poem be about? Catherine, what's your guess?
Maybe it's what's on what's on that tree.
Well, let me give you another hint. So it says it weighed a ton, so it's something really heavy. And it says that it can roar. And it also says that now it's just a fossil. So it's something that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I know, a dinosaur.
Yes. Jackson, were you thinking a dinosaur too? I saw your hand up. Yeah? Very good. Yes, the answer is a dinosaur.
When the flood
when the flood, the dinosaurs were too big, so they died.
Yeah, so that's why it said that they were all just a fossil.
Right?
Okay, the next riddle poem is actually, it's a riddle poem and it's a shape poem because the words make the shape of what it is. So here's our riddle. This dark gray tunnel of thinned whirlwind, this chain of rain and noise destroys. So look at the shape of the poem and then think about all the rhymes that are in it too. Rain and noise destroys. What do you think this riddle poem is about? Any guesses? This dark gray tunnel of thinned whirlwind, this chain of rain and noise destroys. It's not something we really see often where we live. Can you tell it's something about, like, it's a type of weather? Because we heard that there's rain and noise. Cole, what do you think it looks like? Cole Miller.
Maybe rain?
Yes, very good. There is rain in this type of storm. And Cole, take a look at the shape. See how it's like a funnel? And this type of storm can destroy as it comes. So yes, there's rain with it. There could be thunder and a lot of wind. Autumn, do you have a guess too?
Tornado.
It is a tornado. Very good. That was good teamwork to figure that out, everybody. So a lot of rain, a lot of wind. And you see the shape? The words and the letters make up that shape of a tornado. Great job. So I'm going to stop here with this riddle book, but I wanted to show you that there's lots of other really, really good riddles. They're really fun to try to figure out. And, you know, if you get stuck, you can just look at the word at the bottom that's upside down, and that's your answer.
One in that book is the Abraham Lincoln one.
You saw an Abraham Lincoln picture?
Abraham.
Oh, I know what you saw.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a riddle in this book about Mount Rushmore. It's a has 4 presidents' faces carved into the mountain. It's pretty neat. So
Actually, can you do that one with us? That one looked really cool.
sure, I'll read that one to you. The funny thing is, Brendan, it's not actually about Mount Rushmore. The answer to the riddle is something different. It says, what needs to be drilled? What makes you smile? What needs to be filled every once in a while? What meets your dinner and lunch at the door? What makes an apple core? Do you know the answer to this riddle? If you look very carefully at the bottom of the page, you might be able to figure out the answer. Honora, what's the answer to this riddle?
Your teeth.
It's your teeth. Yeah. Your smile. Sometimes they need to be drilled or filled if you have a cavity. It meets your lunch at the door, right? So the answer was your teeth. All right. So our last riddle book today is called Spot the Plot. And well, you guys know I love books. All the answers to these riddles are books. So it's a riddle book of book riddles. And I bet most of these stories you guys know. All right, I'm not going to read all of them, but I do have my favorites. All right, let's do this one. This poor miss had 2 sisters who were mean to her. Met a prince ever since. Royal balls he recalls. Maiden who wore a shoe made of glass. Found the lass with the foot that she put into it. Slipper fit. What's the story? What's the answer to the riddle? It's a book title. It's actually a fairy tale title. Let me see. Does anyone know the answer to that riddle? The pictures might help you figure it out a little bit. This poor miss had 2 sisters that were mean to her. Met a prince ever since. Royal balls he recalls. Maiden wore a... Oh, Honora typed in the answer. Very good, Honora. Yes. Autumn, what's the answer to this riddle?
Cinderella.
It's Cinderella. Yes. All right, so with the next riddle, now that we've done the first one, you'll know the answer is going to be a book title. Let's do this one. Good wood makes fake bad lad. Toy boy cries lies. Nose grows. Do you know what story this riddle poem's about? And maybe some of you are thinking it's a movie. So it was a story first. And yes, it was turned into a movie. Cole Miller, do you have an idea what this one is?
Well, there's one where the three pigs in the houses and the fox tried to blow them down. I think it's that.
Oh, that's a great guess. And you're on the right track because it is like a fairy tale. And you're thinking that because of the wood on his nose and the wood that the pig used to build his house. That's a great guess, Cole. But there's another part of this riddle that I think makes it a different story. And that part is right here. It says, when he lies, his nose grows. Do you know a story where there's a little boy and when he tells a lie, it makes his nose grow? So Cole, you're on the right track. The wood is important, but I think it's about a different story for this one. Jackson, what's your guess?
Pinocchio.
It is Pinocchio. Good teamwork again. Very
I
good.
was trying to spell it in the chat box.
Yep, if you put it in the chat box, I can see it. Catherine, good job. And Honora, I see you both shared it in the chat. All right, let's do this one. One special train, one little boy, one Christmas gift, not quite a toy. A reindeer bell jingling good cheer that only believers in Santa hear. This is a story also turned into a movie that maybe you've heard of before. Any guesses? Catherine, what's your guess?
I remember the book. I don't have it, but I remember it. A roller coaster thing. What's it
Yeah.
called?
Yep, it's called the Polar Express.
Polar Express, yeah.
Yeah, see, you did know it. Very good. The Polar Express.
Because you showed that one time of the train. I knew it was Polar Express.
That's very good.
And then I saw the movie.
Okay, so we're gonna finish up here with one last poem. This one is a book series we have in the library. It's a book that I like to read a lot to first grade, but I think a lot of you might already know this book. The poem says, "Dear Mr. Farmer, the letter we're typing goes under griping. This barn is too cold, not climate controlled. If we have to shiver, we don't deliver. No bedding, no butter. No blankets, no udder. Stop the madness, end the battle. Sincerely yours, the cattle." Oh, Honora, very good. Honora typed the answer in the chat box. Do you think you know what it is? Do you know a story, a fun fiction story, where someone's typing a letter? Autumn, do you know what it is?
Click, clack, moo, cows that type.
Correct. Click, clack, moo, cows that type is the answer. Do you guys know that book with Duck and Farmer Brown and all the animals? There's a couple different books in that series. I love that one.
Did you know that on the other, can we do the other one? I know what it is. It's my favorite book. I mean,
Was
it's
it the one with
favorite
just,
movie.
was it the story with just 2 words in it?
The other one.
This one here?
No, the other one. No, the other one. The
This
one that you're just going the other way. I love that movie. It's my favorite.
Well, let me read the poem first. It's very short. Her hair's the stairs.
No, the other one.
What?
The one before that one.
Do you want to tell me what the answer is, and then I can turn to that page?
Sure.
Which was the one you were thinking of?
Charlotte Web.
Yes. Okay. So this one. Yes. Charlotte's Web. This is a wonderful story. This is a chapter book, but if you're looking for a great story for a grown up to read to you, I really recommend reading Charlotte's Web.
We have the book.
It's a
And
book.
I love the movie.
Yeah, but it's a story that was turned into a movie, just like the Polar Express and Pinocchio and Cinderella. So this poem says, a magical telling, a pig for the selling, a spider is spelling out words that amaze. Do you know this spider? This spider web writer? The pig will delight her for the rest of her days. And then we can see in the picture the spelling there. That's great. You know what's fun? Boys and girls, if you ever check this book out and you can read the riddles to a grown-up at home and see if they can guess what the answers are. And then all the way at the end, at the back of the book, you're going to see
All the answers?
all the answers are at the end. So some of the other riddles that were in this book, we had the Wizard of Oz. There's a poem about the Wizard of Oz, Madeline, the Tale of Peter Rabbit, Cinderella, Where's Waldo? I don't know if you've seen those books, but there's a little guy with a red and white hat that's hiding on the page and you have to find him. The story of
Charlotte's Web, I see.
Good
I
Night
see
Moon,
Charlotte's Web.
Pinocchio,
Like
Polar Express,
White.
Rapunzel, Charlotte's Web, Tacky the Penguin, and Click Clack Moo was the last one, or the last poem in the book. So that was Spot the Plot, a riddle book of book riddles. So a lot of boys and girls, after I read some of these riddles, they like to come up with their own riddles. So if you have time today and want to write your own riddle about something, you could choose like an animal, and you could even learn about that animal on Pebble Go first. And then you could write hints about it. Okay, so one of the books on Epic that you might want to look for the next time you're looking for a book to read, it's by our poet that we were reading today, J. Patrick Lewis. And it's called Just Joking, Animal Riddles. So to find that book, you could just type in riddles to find some good riddles. You could type in the name of the book, whoops, Just Joking, or you could type in the poet's name. And then I want to find the one by J. Patrick Lewis, which is this one here. It has the picture of the giraffe on the cover. And then you could read this book by turning the page. And then it has the riddle. And the next page has the answer and a picture of the riddle. So for example, this one says, I am a red, blue, yellow, and green automatic answering machine. And you can think a little bit about what that is and what animal that might be. All the answers are animals. And when you turn the page, you can see, oh, it's a parrot, because the parrot can answer you when you talk to it. And it's all the different colors. And then you'll have a little fact in the book about that animal. So this is filled with all different fun animal riddles. Another book I thought you might like on Epic is, let me close this one so you can see the cover. It's called Guess Again, Riddle Poems. So again, if you just type the word riddle into Epic, you'll be able to find this book, or you could type the title in, Guess Again. And
hello.
This one, whoops, this one is nice because it'll read it to you. It'll have the riddle, and then you turn the page and the answer is hidden on the next page. So you have to turn it to be able to see what the answer is, which is nice. It doesn't give the answer away too soon. So those are two really fun riddle books and a riddle poetry book that you might want to look for on Epic,